operators of this radio station. No part of this program may be copied or reproduced in full or in part without the express written consent of the producers, the McKinney Media Group. This is Hard Copy on the McKinney Broadcasting Radio Network, and Hard Copy seeks to lay out the facts in simple fashion for the inclusion of all Bahamians and Bahamians at heart. The focus every day to move forthright in our manner to build a progressive and developing country. Our desire is for a Bahamas with a competent, skillful, and productive workforce. We want a country that can feed and sustain itself. We want a country with a brilliant visionary action plan that's ready to embrace a future of hope and prosperity. We encourage like-minded Bahamians to participate with intelligent and honest contributions. After all, my friends, we have a country to build. We've got jobs and industry to create. We've got a people to inspire and empower, and generations of born and unborn Bahamians we, the people, must protect and plan for. And if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Today on Hard Copy, it seems like the F&M is under fire. Early in the game, after 40 days, Bradley Roberts couldn't wait. He says, look, they're not doing their job and they're taking vacation so quick. Pretty much some of what you've been summing up. We talk about that and other things today on an open line on Hard.
This year, don't be caught singing the Christmas blues. Start saving now with your own B.O.B. Christmas Club account. Sign up before June 30th with just $20. Earn high interest and have guaranteed spending money in time for Christmas. Don't be left in a bind this year. Let B.O.B.'s Christmas Club account work for you. Sign up today at your nearest B.O.B. branch. B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
Birthdays are special, especially the birth of our nation. Celebrate independence with specials at Super Value and quality supermarkets like Evolution 2 Water 5-gallon $3.99, gallon size 2 for $3. Danish spare ribs $2.49 per pound. Devon corned beef 12-ounce can $1.99. Pastoroni pastas 4.6-ounce size $1.69. Pick Sweet corn on the cob 8 airs or mixed veg peas and carrots 28-ounce $2.99. Golden ripe pineapples $3.99 each. Happy birthday, Bahamas, from Super Value and quality supermarkets.
Get excited, Bahamas, as we celebrate our country's 44th birthday. Wear your colors.
Wave your flag.
Decorate your homes and businesses. And let's celebrate the Beat Retreat, Boston and Parliament Squares on Sunday, the 2nd of July at 5:30 p.m.
National Pride Day, Boston and Parliament Squares will be transformed on Friday, the 7th of July. And the Grand Independence Celebration, Clifford Park, on Sunday, the 9th of July at 8 p.m.
Immediately following at 1 a.m., John Canoe, the People's Love and Unity Rush.
Then, the grand finale.
On Monday, the 10th of July, will be a state reception, Government House.
This is an exciting calendar of events you won't want to miss.
Oh, no, I won't. Will you be there?
Of course, I will beat you there. So let's get involved and celebrate our country's 44th birthday together.
What are your travel plans this summer? The Ministry of Tourism invites you to visit one of our many unique family islands and explore the Bahamas like never before. Eleuthera, Exuma, San Salvador, and many more offer exciting vacation packages with affordable airfare, room rates, and exciting things to do. Andros, Bimini, Cat Island are to be considered too. This summer, do something different. Do something bold. Do something uniquely Bahamian. Travel to the family islands and rediscover the Bahamas. For more information, visit myoutisland.com.
Ah, it tastes so good. Fresh, clear, ultra pure. Available at your neighborhood depot and nearest store. Echo Water, premium distilled. Don't be surprised. It comes in just your size. 20 ounces, 1 and 5 gallons, and 1.5 liters. Echo Water, just what the body needs.
And now, here's a message from Bishop Neil C. Ellis.
Almost everywhere you turn these days, you can see or hear of crime, corruption, sickness, violence, or political and industrial unrest. Nowadays, we are hardly our brother's keeper. I am of the view that the unprecedented and relentless rise in crime is being fueled by greed, covetousness, and selfishness. Those of us who are the redeemed, the blood-washed, the called out, must stay the course until this nation of ours cries out yet again that the Lord our God reigns over the Bahamas.
We have a situation here on the ground. I can start by saying it like this.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
I hope this is a working vacation, and I ain't speaking only but cabinet.
I would ask my government haste and forthwith to come out of the holes. But I want to say to my government again, the tail's out. Don't be like the rat running the hole and you leave your tail up. And I repeat, my government, come out of the hole. Thank you.
I know. What you mean if I know who that is? People don't know who that is.
I got a word from my government.
Gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down.
When you campaign on a promise and present a budget that does not include the people who we thought you were talking about, the small people who really got you in office, it puts a big question in your mind.
It's like a very confused environment.
I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down.
All you former challengers who were so readily reached by phone, who done change your blasted number, be coming for you.
Well, I know what's right. I got just one life in a world that keeps on pushing me around, but I stand my ground, and I won't back down.
It is Monday, the third day of the month of July, 2017, as you battle the congested city streets and drive home traffic. We have fair skies for you this afternoon, 89 degrees right now in the nation's capital, 82 the low for tonight. We thank you so much for joining us on the drive home. I'm Steve McKinney. This is Hard Copy, and we're brought to you today by Seafowl. Of course, Sapadilla, Summer Globe, the 44th Independence Celebrations, the Bank of the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions, the show Bistro on Nassau Street, getting ready for the big Independence cook-off, and of course, Mount Tabor's Inspiration, Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets, Rocky Farms Nursery, ready for Independence? You want to go and get your plans. Also, Water and Sewage Corporation, the Ministry of Tourism, travel the islands this summer, Echo Water, the official water of Hard Copy, Commonwealth Bank, your new debit card, just in time for Independence, right? Cool Tech with the Eck and Do experts on Tonique Williams-Darling Highway, Bahamian Brewery and Beverages, Super Wash open 24/7, Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue. Ron's Electric Motors, Big Ron Frazier's right there waiting to lift that motor and fix it for you. Executive Printers on Jerome Avenue, and they are getting ready too for Independence. And of course, McKinney Media Group. McKinney Media Group Limited for advertisements, public relations, and consultation. You want to see us first. You can call Hard Copy today at 325-023516. WhatsApp and texting 376-9234. And you can get us online, peace1075.com, Hard Copy YouTube channel, cable top box 970, plus BTC Flow on the go, 613. That's how you get us. And on TuneIn Radio, iPad, iPhone, and the Android. And you can also get us on the new radio app that's called Radio Air. And yes, follow us on Facebook, Hard Copy, and on Twitter, Hard Copy Bahamas. Grand Bahama, are you in the house today? Because a lot of people are talking about what's happening down there, saying that people have been let go, and the urban renewal workers. So you can call me, let me know what's going on. I want to know too, and I want to make sure that the nation is well briefed on what is happening in the country. That was a pretty interesting sweeper at the beginning of the show today. I won't back down. That's the word from a lot of people in the body politic of the now Free National Movement governing party. Let me back up here and tell you this, that, the truth is that a lot of people seem to be feeling this whole thing in a way that is not that impressive, that they're not impressed with the way that the government has been doing some things this early. And I'm saying that is early in the game. What do you think, folks? I want to get you on the telephones today. What do you think? Is it too early? Because the truth be told, you heard that show with Mark and others last week, and people are now kind of like fed up. They're fed up with a lot of things. One of the things that they're fed up with is this, that while all of the things are going on with all this talk about, I suppose, malfeasance and misappropriation and all those allegations, people want to see the government doing some things to get things going. They want to see a governance of the government of the Bahamas. They want to see them in a style of good governance, and they want to hear about some things that they may have as priority items that they'd like to see dealt with immediately. And of course, you know, most of those things are along the lines of what? Crime and immigration and the economy. They're the big three. But of course, at the same time, there are many things that people would like to see happening in their islands and in their neighborhoods and in their over-the-hill communities. And they don't seem to feel what is happening. I want to know today, do you feel what is happening now? Keep in mind now, these guys have been there for just over 7 weeks. And in Bradley Roberts' assessment, they've been there for the first 40 days. And he has, I mean, basically just beat them over the head with everything, the kitchen sink included. And he is saying that they've done some things that are just not the way it's supposed to be done. For instance, he believes that they've not done enough things to create employment and all those things. They've not articulated their position on a number of national issues and on a number of things that should be priority matters for them. They've been concentrating, for the most part, he thinks, Bradley Roberts and many others think, they've been concentrating on who did what and if they should, some people should go to jail, that kind of stuff. Now, that may be nervous talk for a lot of people in the opposition PLP party, but there may be a point, or is there one, when it comes to how Minnis and his team have decided to govern at the outset. I want you to talk with me today, 325-0235 or 6, 325-0242 or 43. Let's get you in early today. Let's make this interactive. I want to hear what you have to say, 325-0242 or 43, because it seems as if a lot of people are not pleased. Now, that may be a broad statement, okay? I agree. But there are people who are not pleased, and they are very vocal. That's perhaps the best way I can say it. There are people who are not pleased with how they see the government performing, and they are very vocal. Now, what does that mean for the Free National Movement? That means that early in the game, they can get, razzle-dazzle. They can become frustrated because people are expressing now that they are frustrated because they can't seem to, little things like they can't contact their members of parliament. They don't have the telephone numbers. So some people have a problem with that, but other people may not have a problem with that. The thing is, there's a view that let the government govern, man. Let them get a chance. That's a view. And that may be a good view. But see, at the end of the day, you still got to feel which direction they're going in. I'm all for letting the government govern. Soberly, seriously. I believe the government should govern, and we should give them the biggest chance to govern. But Bradley Roberts is saying the first 40 days is an indication that they are spinning wheels and not going anywhere. There are others who've been calling the show must be about the second week, saying that, we'd like to see more things happening. They'd like to see more focused approach on a lot of things. A lot of people have also called and say, look, what's happening here is that these guys have become distracted. We discussed it on the show last night, the last word. Are they distracted? Have they become unhinged by all of the pressure of government? And these are sobering things because really, the truth be told, that somehow they've got to get the lead out a little bit more. I think that all of us would agree with that. If we could only see a kind of a focal point of the government, then people may settle down. But boy, you heard that intro today. I won't back down is what the people are saying. They don't come here talking this gibberish because we ain't interested in that. They want to see something effective happen in their communities. Now, that's something that Minnis is going to have to really deal with. Only thing now, though, friends, is that Minnis is over in Grenada, I think it is. Yep. He went to Grenada today, or yesterday, and he's over there because he is traveling for the 30th regular meeting of the Conference of the Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM. And that's going to happen from July 4th to the 6th. And this is Minnis's first time at CARICOM, his first CARICOM meeting as Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And, you know, that's quite interesting because he has to go there, and he will, and he has gone. And I suppose he'll make all of us very, very proud because he will have his say as to what he wants to see happen in the region and some of the things he may talk about, maybe the CCJ and all those things. And we hope that he is going to bring to CARICOM this focus from the Bahamas about illegal migration, illegal immigration, and how so many people are here and we would need some CARICOM assistance. Successive governments in the past have not asked for that because I suppose we're just too proud. And you ever heard that song, Too Proud to Beg? We're not interested in that, Temptations. I ain't too proud to beg is what the song is, but of course, it seems like we are too proud to ask for some assistance because you realize that a lot of these people who come here, they don't go all the way to Jamaica, you know, they don't go all the way to Barbados. They stay right around there, right from Haiti, right here, that right from down Jamaica, they come here. They don't, this is what is happening. So there are people who would need assistance. The government would need assistance in this area, but they've never asked. But that's another story. I just mentioned that because these may be some of the things he may talk about. We're not so sure. But what do you think, friends? What do you think when it comes to this assessment by Bradley Roberts that the first 40 days has been horrendous, is what he's saying. He says they assumed office and a group who were of the PLP, it is inexcusable that the Minnis crew could not table one single bill in Parliament in 40 days and took a 10-week vacation, a 10-week break. You know, the House breaks around this time. They did. They will stay out until about September the 18th. And Robert seemed to be concerned about that, like a lot of us were concerned about it. And we said about it that, look, maybe it's going to be a working vacation, like, you know, they on a break from the House, but they will still be doing a lot of work to get things going in the government. And that's what the government needs. And everybody who we did a poll with said, look, they need to be doing some things here. They cannot go off into the sunset on their old little mosey way doing their own thing. They've got to be around to get some things started. I asked you that question today too. What do you think about that? What do you think about it? Do you think that this is what should happen, that the government should be doing some things to show that they've got the grit to get it done? A lot of people are upset, I'm telling you. And they are expressing themselves by text. They're expressing themselves by telephone. They're expressing themselves in the newspapers. This means then, friends, that we, the people, have got to help them in the direction that they ought to be going in. If we care, we would do that. And so I throw my telephone lines open today on this open line so that you can sound off and say what your thoughts are. And I'm listening to you. I think that what you have to say is very important. 325-023516, 325-024243, 325-025253, because they perhaps may need this more than you know. They may need this kind of critical analysis, this critical criticism more than you know. Now, they're not listening to what Bradley has to say. Bradley, the chairman of the PLP, they've got their own things that they've got to deal with as well. The PLP is expecting to now go into convention somewhere around about the third week in October. And before they go into that convention, they've got to make an assessment as to why they lost so terribly, why they lost so bad. I mean, they brought in a fella from, where's this? They brought in a fella from, Fred Mitchell says they brought in a Jamaican political strategist to tell them why they lost. This fella's supposed to be an expert. And they want to know why they lost. We can tell you why you lost. You lost because you didn't govern properly. You lost because there was too much misappropriation of funds, or allegations of it. You lost because you failed on the Bahama. You lost because the people lost confidence in you all from about the first 2 years after you were in office. You lost because you were not reading your people properly. And you even lost your base. Your base dwindled from about 48 or 46% to somewhere around about 37%. So, you know, these are caveat reasons why you would have lost. And I suppose you need it from the experts from Jamaica, I suppose. That's what it seems like. But, you know, if you're going to pay a big bill on that, you know, I suggest that you put that money toward the convention, because this fellow can only tell you you lost because you failed on mortgage relief. You lost because you had a leader who just did not have the magic anymore. He was out of touch. He lost. I mean, if he lost, obviously something was wrong. The leader lost while some other people got through. So it was perhaps a question of leadership, Mr. Mitchell. But, you know, you have a right to go and do what you have to do. And I don't blame you all, because there may be some other reasons why you lost. You may find out that you lost because you were there before the election on the 2 days before the election trying to beat up Chanel Ferguson and talking all kind of fool. And that's why you lost. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe the fellow, the expert, will tell you some better reasons as to why you lost. And then didn't Mitchell say to us that, look, it's only a loss. We'll be right back in 5 years. So what's the big deal? I don't know what you all around here trying to make assessments for. Now he comes back and he says there's going to be an assessment as to why they lost. We can talk about that as well. It's an open line today, so just feel free. We can talk about that as well. But Bradley Roberts may be on point with some of these things that he's saying. You see, the perception is that the FNM only came in after campaigning. They won big time. And they came in, all they got done was the budget. And after the budget, they decided that this is a good time to take a break. You see, what's egregious about this, what Bradley Roberts is saying, and you need to hear him. I mean, I know sometimes you can't stomach what Mr. Roberts is saying, but I'll tell you this. Roberts is saying here that this group who was so critical of the PLP's governance, it is inexcusable that the Minnis crew could not table one single bill in Parliament in 40 days. See, there was no tabling of the bill. There's no agenda. You need to understand this. He has a point. Now, I don't know if you want to, you know, body slam them for that, but the point is this information correct? Did they table any bills? Did they set an agenda? Whose job is that? The government leader is Renwood Wells. Renwood Wells has been basically busy about doing a number of things, and I think he's out of the country right now. I think he's gone to Rome or someplace. He's gone to Rome for some agricultural big meeting that you know, he wanted to go to that, and that's where he gone. Minnis and those have gone down to CARICOM in Grenada. A battalion of ministers went with him, I understand, or I should say people. I don't know if they were all ministers. So obviously with the summer break, you know, people may be skedaddling here, skedaddling there, skedaddling everywhere. And so Roberts looks at that and says, now, you know, these guys got to do better than this, because, you know, they're all doing some other things now when they should have at least put the agenda on the table as to what they're going to be talking about and at least table a bill. Now, you may not agree with him, because a lot of people think that, you know, Roberts don't know what he's talking about. That's how people approach it. But is it a legitimate point? And if it's a legitimate point, that means that we've got to get on the case of our government to make sure that they're doing things that's going to be wholesome and beneficial to we, the people in this country. I mean, you can't just be laissez-faire and to say, well, you know, well, look, give them a chance. This give them a chance thing is really overplayed. They have a chance. We gave them that chance when we voted them in and booted the PLP out. So they got that chance. Now, the difference with giving them the chance and their performance has been, were they ready for the chance that they were given? Did they have the requisite paperwork and agendas ready to implement, or even things that they have in the plans, so that we can know the plan? You know, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So when you look at a plan, people are expecting that Well, the ministers group is now in. These are the plans. In the first couple of days, we're going to do this, this, and that. And these are the things that we're concentrating on. We want to concentrate on this. We want to concentrate on that. We want to concentrate on this. They could be all caveat points of immigration, whatever they are. The biggest thing that we have to do, as you know, is we've got to get this economy going. This economy is really shot. We got to get it going. I want Ministem to really go there and get it going. I believe that they can get it going. I have confidence in them that they can. I have to have confidence in them because they are the alternative to the PLP. The PLP seemed to have gone astray, if you will, and were not so focused. We, the people, believe that. They were not focused. They lost their focus. They were so busy trying to prop up Perry Gladstone Christie that, everybody played to the leader. They were so busy trying to bury all the foolishness that they were doing. No one gave 2 cents about what Jerome Fitzgerald did in his last few days in office, or the other people who came under the spotlight of kind of like Slippery. Come on now, you know I'm talking the truth. So we had to get rid of them. They should know that. That's why this thing about an assessment, conducting, and that's fine. They could do that. But, the bottom line is this. You did bad. You didn't do good. You did bad. You did dead bad, and people booted you. Now, you got to go and fix that. You got to go and find some new people. You've got to, like the new senator that I saw on television last night, she seems to be a very, very bubbly, nice lady. I don't personally know her, but the new senator, what's her name again? It'll come back to me. But she seemed to be looking at the assessment from internally in the PLP that, we messed up. The people didn't believe us no more. Our leader was just, out of it. And we should have changed him. We didn't change him. You got a chance. And see, they had a wonderful chance. They had Alfred Sayers right there. Alfred Sayers could have led them to a victory. See, if people saw a leadership change, now you may disagree with me with this, but I'm saying it. If people saw a leadership change at the head of that PLP party when they had an opportunity, I think it was in January or somewhere around there, they didn't capitalize on it. They rejected. They rejected Alfred Sayers and all of his promises and all of his beliefs and all of everything that he brought, all of his ethos. They rejected him. And they went with Christie. Christie the man. Christie. That's what happened. They paid the price. They needed a change in leadership, but they didn't see it. So they missed the boat. But on this score, what Bradley Roberts is talking about now, friends, he has a point, You may not want to admit that he has a point. Big Bad Brad has a point. That's why he's been blasting and shooting from the hip. 6 guns, bam, 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 he's just shooting. And he picked an interesting time to do all this firing because Minnis is not here. Even if Minnis was there, I don't know if Minnis would have answered him, but Minnis is gone, and some other people are out of town, and the other ministers who really ought to be, taking some hits for Minnis and defending the cause of the F&M, they are quiet as church mouse. And that's why we seem to have a little problem here. So what does it mean? We've got to get the F&M government to get it together and help them to get it together. Nobody means them any harm. They've got to suck it up, have broad shoulders, and take the criticism and run like hell to get the thing right. Because if you can't articulate a plan of action and some things that you're going to concentrate on this early in the game, you could have troubles. That's just the reality of things. So I ask you, the Bahamian public, call me. I hear my text thing going off like it's crazy. I want you calling me on the phones today. 325-0235 or 6. 325-0242 or 43. 325-0252 or 53. My text and WhatsApp numbers 376-9234. What are we going to do now? We in the summer. We've got serious problems in the summer. Lights going off. BPLA know what they're doing, as usual. No one has called this into account. This should be one of the first things we should have talked about. Energy reform. We ain't talk about that. We ain't talk about Aragonite. We ain't talk about nothing. We just governing, so we say. Now, let's fix this if we can once and for all today. Hard copy, how are you?
Good evening. How you doing?
I can't hear you, sir. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Yeah, I predict that like the UBP, the PLP is the party of the past. So.
You mean you believe the PLP will go the way of the UBP?
Yes, I think anyone who linked to the Pinland era, I will see Parliament again, not as an MP.
I see.
Now they're gonna have to revamp and bring in a whole slate of young people.
You think they into that?
Convince the people.
You think they into that?
Hello?
Do you think that the PLP is into that? Bringing in a whole new slate of people?
I have no choice. Well, I have no choice, but right now the PLP is a party of the past.
Well, you may be right, but let's just let me follow your line, right? They're the party of the past. You don't think that they'll bring in some new people, even though that's what they need. And you see the signs on the wall already. There's Fred Mitchell in the Senate. There is Dowell in the Senate. And there are a couple of other younger ones in the Senate. There's Brave Davis at the leadership pool. He's hoping to run for leader and win. And we don't know who will run as deputy, but Alfred Sayers is also hoping to run whenever they call it, sometime in October. And so they may be in a state of flux themselves. But there are some young Turks who also want to run, like Renard Rigby. And there's also Chester Cooper, a brilliant young man. Renard, what's his name again? Renard is also, Rigby is also a brilliant young man. And so they can have a good little thing on their hand if they start to focus on young people and get that party going in that particular direction. But, you know, the PLP is a group of people who are veterans and they are elderly in many cases, stalwart councillors, and they call the shots. That's just the way it is. They call the shots. So I don't know if you're going to see this abundance of young people filling in and saying that they want to be something in that party.
I think Mr. Cooper and Renard Rigby, but the challenge is what the PLP has done over the years was they brought in a lot of young people, and I think it was a visage. And you know, right after the day, they think the Bahamian people still stupid. You know, this is a 21st century Bahamas, and yet they're still bringing in all of these.
But listen, the PLP, if you are correct in your assessment that they're a group of the past, why deal with that? Let's look at the future then. Let's look at the present. Let's look at where we are now with the Free National Movement. I mean, a lot of fellas from the past, like Big Bad Brad and those, they're criticizing the government on the fact that they didn't do certain things before they took their break. And the country seems to be in limbo as far as what the agenda is and what the focus is as to what the FNM is going to do. Do you have some views on that?
Yes. See, even that method is a thing of the past. And if the FNM does not do anything within 2 years, I want you to pay close attention what might happen within that party itself.
Well, I will be paying close attention.
Because some young men in there who went in there, I think they went in there to do business. And they went in there to link to friends, family, and lovers. And when the Bahamian people start really rallying up and expect some things to happen, those young men going to come to the forefront, and we don't want to see a repeat of the FNM in government would be so when there was an opposition.
Well, you know, one of the things that you've got to do, young man, you've got to begin the process of stopping that now, because this is exactly what Bradley Roberts is basically saying to the Bahamian public, you know, and to the FNM, that they are aloof, that they don't know what they're doing. That's what he's saying, you know. When you read through what he's saying that these guys got the nerve, the temerity to go on vacation and have not even set the agenda. They have not put one single bill. That's what he's saying, you know. That's the essence of what he's saying, that who are these people? That's what Bradley Roberts is saying. Now, you may not agree with Bradley Roberts, but see, that's a fair criticism that he has on this particular occasion. And there has to be someone within the governing party of the Free National Movement who will challenge him and put him straight and say, this is what our agenda really is. But Minnis is out of town now. So is the press secretary, I do believe. And so I'm saying it seems like the Free National Movement may be in a vulnerable position right now to take the onslaught of attackers and critics like Mr. Roberts and them.
Well, they're gonna have to get the ball rolling. When they was in opposition and campaigning, they had a lot of vigor and zeal, and they had a lot of answers. They had a lot of vision.
Yeah.
They had a lot of.
Do you believe that the Free National Movement will do this country good with Dr. Hubert Minnis and his team? It's a good team. Do you think that they will?
It's a good team, but it also lead up to the leader on who he's linked to now. It ain't who he was linked to prior to going into.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Who he's linked to? What do you mean?
thing to now. Is he answering to the big boys now instead of the Bahamian people?
Speak, man. I can't understand what you're saying. Speak frankly to me. I need to know what you're saying. Speak frank.
Really, when these guys are in opposition campaigning,
Yeah.
they listen to the average man on the street.
Yeah.
And they take note, but as soon as they become the government, they got to now take instruction from some other people
I see.
who don't really
Special
care much
interest.
about us.
Special interest is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
I see. Okay, I appreciate your call. Thanks for participating. I appreciate your call. Hard copy, how you doing?
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Very good, very good.
I'll make this very, very quick. 3 quick points. Timing, young people, and consultants. Timing. I believe that this time the F&M going on vacation is a bad decision. This is a time now where they're supposed to flex. They went through the whole hell and high water to get elected. And now that they're taking this early vacations, the timing is all off. Young people, in order for the PLP to recoup itself, in order for it to make that paradigm shift, I believe that they should take on the Chester Coopers and all of the young persons in that party who are really a nationalist, who consider themselves nationalists and want to really do good for this country. They need to bring those persons forward and reach out across the party lines. This is the paradigm shift. Reach out across the party lines outside the PLP. Take on everyone who's serious about rebuilding this country, regardless of political affiliations or whatever, and bring us together.
You sound like you're saying that they need to go on a massive recruitment exercise.
And that is exactly what I'm saying. This is a new Bahamas. We always been talking about the new Bahamas. We need to remove the old weapons and introduce some new innovative stuff that we can move this country forward. And lastly, the consultant. It is a blatant insult for the PLP party to bring in a foreign consultant into this country to give an analysis of why they lost the election.
But they can do that. They're now not the government anymore. That won't cost us any money. That'll cost them some money.
Well, at the end of the day, trust me, Steve, we all know. At the end of the day, it is going to cost the Bahamian people money because the monies have got to be replaced. And they may not tell you this in your face, but we know how things go. Everything has an effect on every other thing. And even though they may be spending this money now, at the end of the day, should they be reelected, it's going to cost the Bahamian people. And that's just the way of life. So they are my 3 points. We as Bahamians, our eyes are open. We are intelligent. We see what's going on around us. We cannot pretend as if we are asleep. Let's take this country by force. This place is for Bahamians. It is the Bahamians' time, not the people's time.
So you believe, you agree with Mr. Roberts then that these guys who are now in, that they would have done some slippage. There's been some slippage already at the beginning of this governance. There's been slippage because some very, very key points have been left out of the equation as to what they ought to be doing or what they should be doing even now or just before the break. See, let's get this straight. Every parliamentary session takes a break around this time for the summer. But there are certain things that happen prior to that. You have to put certain things in place so that when you do return, there's an agenda and there's something that the people of the country would know that these are the things that are now lined up for the session when it begins. And it has more to do than just getting the budget completed. A lot of what they do is supposed to be able to reflect coming up now and when they return, the things that they're going to now start to extrapolate from the budget and focus on with fixing and heating the economy. None of those things have been enunciated by nobody. And so as a result of it, Roberts has used a good time to attack them on those points because they are guilty in that particular regard.
In this particular dispensation, you're absolutely correct. And really, I don't believe in a lot of the antics that Mr. Roberts pull from time to time.
Yeah.
But in this particular instance, he is spot on. The timing is all off. I believe that the F&M government should have, even though they knew that this is something that they were going to do, they should have already highlighted certain persons who will remain behind to continue on to articulate the work that they are expected to do.
They need a
demanding that they do, but none of that has been done. So basically, it is like a void. The people on the ground are speaking, my good friend, and I'm going to tell you, right now at this time, with all of the all of the backtracking and that has been going on and the missteps. Because we are seeing them now happening now. A lot of FNMs may want to disagree, but I'm telling you, in reality, there are a lot of missteps already in this administration that is costing them.
I hear you. I appreciate your call. Now, a lot of these missteps are correctable. It's not the end of the world, but you've got to face the matter. You see, you can't just say, well, they're missteps and leave it as that. A lot of these missteps, as he put it, gaffes, as I put it, oversight that you didn't see something coming. These could be corrected early, but it has to be corrected with some kind of formulation of a team effort and a plan of action. You've got to be able to articulate to the Bahamian public quickly, to the media especially, that these are some things that we are concentrating on now as key items, principal items that we need to do to make the adjustment, to make the necessary adjustments so that we can move forward. We know what the PLP left is in. We know that. Creating a budget of $722 million is not going to be the end-all, the be-all, end-all. That's a start. It's high, and it's going to cost us money. But the point is, you've got to now be able to articulate from this budget the things that you may say, well, they just did that, Steve. They just said that we can do this. No, they talked about the budget and why they support the passing of the budget. That's one thing. But to say that this is what they're going to do in the fiscal year is a different story. And that's one of the reasons why I think that you see the heavy criticisms coming already from a party that really should be dead. This party called the PLP should not be able to open their mouth in this town. They should be ashamed to open their mouth in this town, and they should be made to feel as if you better don't say nothing now, because these people, they ain't forget you all just wasn't there. But they done talking boldly. Christy talking, Bradley talking, this one talking, Glenn is talking, everybody talking, because they feel as if these guys, no threat. They feel as if there's nothing that's going to happen. There's been no consequences and repercussions for all the things that have happened. So what the hell you all talking about? That's what's happening, I don't know if you all see it or you're just afraid to talk about it the way I say it. This is what is happening. There is a total disconnect and disrespect that's happening because they smell blood in the water. They think that this is a weak group. They were saying it before the election. That's unfortunate because they are the duly elected government. But you see, if the guys who are now there don't show no grit, you're going to have all kind of people prancing up in your face talking fool. You got to answer. You got to have rapid fire. You got to deal with it right away. You can't be playing with that. That sets in, and that's like cement. See, when doubt sets into a government administration, and the people themselves are influenced by the things that they see, the confluence of things that they see and feel, they can start to say, boy, I know, I concern. They can start doubting. You don't need that to happen. So Menace and them have got to get tough, stand strong, and say these are the things. And if the media is not getting it right, they need to keep on saying it. They need to just keep drilling it, because somebody has to understand where the government's going. Now, you know me, I would be the first to tell you the government is going here, so be quiet, and this is what they're doing. But I don't even understand where they're going. I might as well admit it to you. I don't understand where they're going. I know what they need to do. I have ideas of what they need to do. The public have ideas what they need to do to get it moving, but I don't know exactly if that is the feeling among the hierarchy of where they're going. Brent's trying to do some things to put some focus there, which is good. And I don't always compliment Mr. Brent Simonet, but, you have to be fair with this. I think Menace has tried to poke the direction of the ship of state in the area of Grand Bahama, trying to show you what he wants to do. But a lot of these things have been hit down by opposition folks and by critics who said, man, these things aren't realistic. These are the frivolous things. That's what they've said. I'm going to be real with you, because I would like to see the Menace administration really succeed. I think that Menace is going to do a good job, I haven't lost my faith in that. I think that because he's a clean guy with a fresh start, and he needs a chance to really find himself, to dig in And I'm giving him that chance. But at the end of the day, there are certain things that has to happen just because they're automatic. You expect that they're going to do things like set an agenda before the vacation. You're going to expect that they're going to have their machinery still pumping things. That's the same mistake the PLP made. They just when the PLP won in 2012, you know what they did? They named all of them fellas, including Andrew Burrows and them. They named all of them to these jobs in ZNS and all this place. That's what they did. They named all of their players, their PR people to, and so the party fell in the pieces. Nikki Simmons went down to the Prime Minister's office. The next one went over here. Elcott Colby gone to BIS. The other fella, what's his name, who was unfortunately murdered? He went to BIS. He was the press secretary of the Prime Minister. They just separated themselves. Now, this particular crew of Free National Movement people have got to be keeping the party image strong, if I can say that. So they've got to keep their people in place to be doing things to shore up the party side. Right now, the entire party seems flat to the point where they're not even defending where the government is going. So don't blame me for that. Because my job is to talk about these things, and my job is to help to guide the country in the direction it's supposed to go, if I can have my little 2 cents say. And that's why I open the lines to you, so that you can have your 2 cents say. And you must help to put it on the right track. Hard copy, how are you?
Good evening, Stephen. How you doing, man?
Very good, thanks.
I can see you you okay, but you're a little concerned. Anyhow, because I'm looking at you. Steve, listen.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Steve, listen. I said to the nation before, and I said to you, I said, Steve, all the ideas that Mr. Sayers has, with that group called the PLP, he would have never get anywhere. He would have never made a difference. Mr. Sayers' idea will work with another organization.
Very true.
Will not work with the PLP. One of your callers called and said the PLP is a party of the past. Steve, as you and I sit here on this very day, the PLP has to first realize that the Almighty God fired them. Man didn't do that. The people didn't do that. God fired them because the tears, God has buckets and barrels of tears of the people crying, asking for help and rescue.
Understood.
In order for the new PLP, with those new Turks, young Turks, to get anywhere, the old weapon of the PLP has to find it within themselves to get on their knees and ask God to forgive them.
But they were told that by a young Turk whose name is Chester Cooper. Chester told them on uncertain terms, they all got to repent. You've got to do penance.
That, Steve, those people are so hard back. They're back-hearted and turtles. They running on with all this rhetoric about what they need to get on their knees, go in their bathrooms, and no matter what their denomination or what they are, say, God, we have done wrong against you and the people, and ask God to forgive them.
You sound like you really care for the PLP to the point where you want them to ask for repent. You want them to repent so they can come back again and try it again.
No. See, Steve, I've got to tell you something about that. I care about people. The PLP that you see has gone now.
Yeah.
The PLP will not see governance in this country, Steve.
Not that crew.
Probably another 4 or 8 elections. For the next 20 to 40 years, they're going to have to keep on rebuilding with the young people and people trying to win the trust. But the PLP is not under that banner. The PLP is not even on God's mind under that banner. They're going to have young people in there representing the party. But as long as they're under that slogan that has been dismantled by God, they ain't going nowhere.
So you agree with the fellow who said that they are going the way of the UBP? You know, when I first came back from the elections on the show, I said, will the PLP go the way of the UBP? And I told you the story about how Jeffrey Johnstone got up as the chairman of the UBP at Garfunkel Auditorium and says, gentlemen, for all intents and purposes, the UBP is dead. We must now find somebody, a new party that we can latch on to or create, and we need to find a leader that look like them, talk like them, walk like them, look like them, but, listen to us. And then, of course, 20 years later, Hubert Ingham comes along, and this thing came together with fractions of the SDP, the UBP, the DBP, all kinds of other Ps came together, and they formed a coalition that became the Free National Movement, and they won the government in 1992. But it took them 20 years in the wilderness. Now, you're saying to me that it seems like this PLP is going to go the same way, that they will not get it together because they will fight against themselves and not accept new turf, the new Young Turks. You know, the FNM, the actual party that we call the FNM, they had to accept new Turks. In fact, right to the last hour, they became so desperate to win. And by 1992, when Pinling was really on his way out, they decided that they was going to recall or bring along a PLP to take him out. And that was Hubert Ingram. So you see, the point what I'm making is that sometimes you're right, sometimes you got to wait. But at the same time, there are things that are indicators on the wall that can tell you, if you don't do this, you will get the same results because you keep doing that same foolishness. And as I told a young man just a short time ago, a lot of elderly folks are in the PLP. And, you know, their whole thing are they're the starboard counselors and they run the show. They run things. The young people don't run nothing inside there.
Steve, I understand that, you know, but those people who are starboard counsel are going to understand their party's already been destroyed. And they themselves have to find their way on their knees.
Yeah.
And as far as the FNM is concerned, Steve, Mr. Minnis may not, now listen to me, Mr. Minnis may not fail. Mr. Minnis' success lies on people like you and 50 or 60 other people who have the mantle that God wants for this country right here and now. He has to invite people outside of his cabinet and sit down and talk with people who has great ideas.
Well, did you tell him that?
Party, Steve?
Did you tell him that? Did you see him to tell him that? Because, you know, that message, I've been hearing that, but I don't see anything happening along those lines to make the corrective steps.
Steve, you know what Mr. Minnis has done, which was wrong, and he will be held accountable for this? I tried to talk to Mr. Minnis. Mr. Minnis has put up a wall that in order to talk to him, you have to go through his secretary. And if his secretary doesn't know, if you cannot reveal why you want to talk to him, she will tell you, you will not be able to.
So the messenger of God is going to be delayed because he has to battle something else to get through to get this like pretty much like that story in the Bible. The angel delayed.
Fine, Mr. Mr. the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Moses sent Pharaoh to God 3 times. After that, Pharaoh had to call for Moses. He needs to be careful what he is doing, because when God has something to do, he will stop at nothing to accomplish what it is he has set out to do. Steve, but honestly, the Bahamian people, like yourself and the other 50 people that I can call on, we need to reach out. Mr. Minister, are not going to commit it. They're too proudful. They need help. I'm not saying he's going to fail, but he needs to sit down and start calling people like yourself and John and Dr. Kingdom and start talking and getting information from people like y'all, man. Y'all are there to help.
Yeah, well, he knows that. I appreciate what you're saying, my friend.
Thank you.
And I thank you. Yeah, I appreciate what he's saying. Yeah, there are many people out there who can help. They're not in the cabinet. They're not even on any boards. They don't want to be. They're not, you know, but they can help. Because if you have a mind to see the government succeed, and I do have that. I wanted to see the PLP succeed, but the PLP deliberately kept me out. They decided that don't let them nowhere around here. And they said that. In fact, it was my same good friend, Big Bad Brad, who I named the Big Bad Brad. I named him that. He was the one who riled me right on the radio and tell me, you want to get something from the PLP and you talking bad about us every day? You got to be crazy. Big Bad Brad told me that. I say, well, you know, gone for that. See, Stevie can kiss up to nothing. The point is, I speak freely because I'm a Bahamian and I want to see the country go well. Now, I want to see Dr. Minnis them go well too. I don't have all the answers. I have a couple of things that I could suggest because I have some experience in things like, you know, the government agencies and stuff like that. I have some experience. And yes, all of us can assist. But the point is, if people are not interested, this gentleman said something very, very interesting, that the Prime Minister's put up a wall. Now, you know, sometimes I got bad ankle, I got bad knee, I can't scale them wall. If you are open-minded to do some things, you will. Hey, he's the Prime Minister. If he says, Steve, I need you to help with this, move that straw from over there and go on the beach and rake up this, I would do it. You know why? Because he see that I can do that, and so he have confidence and I can do it. I'll go and take my wheelbarrow and rake up the place. Seriously, soberly, I mean that. But the trouble is, no, some people are not interested in those kinds of things. Some, you know, I keep telling the story about this fella who was elected as a member of parliament in Bayne Down. Every day he used to come in McDonald's when we used to have the kitchen cabinet many years ago. And all of a sudden, he was elected in another tsunami. In 1992, there was a tsunami, The whole group of Penland and them got wiped out. And I think they got just mashed right up, and the F&M was in charge of everything. And so this fella won as the man for that particular over-the-hill area. And, the next day, he came into McDonald's, dressed right up. Pocket piece, flower in his lapel. Hair perm, necktie, and all kind of stuff. Pretty much like some fellas I see in the House of Assembly. Everybody got on bow ties. See, I scared of that. Because when you start putting on all these bow ties, and I don't mean Romy. Romy has always been wearing his bow tie. But when I see these fellas that wearing these bow tie thing, I start to say, now, hold on a second. What you trying to put out? What you're saying about this? What you trying to say? Ivy League, is that what you're trying to say? Hey, you got to perform. And I mean that. I make no apologies for it. But this guy, back in Baintown there, man, the next day he came to McDonald's, the kitchen captain, he says, you try to approach him and say, this is what I think what you all need to do. Listen, I got that. We know what we're doing. I got that. Let me tell you what I want you to do. Didn't know a thing before, but the very next day, 24 hours. So a lot of times I say that to say that a lot of people, they just suddenly know things. They don't remember that there are people who have been there before them who have experience in certain areas that they can glean from. No sense fooling yourself about people who you like, but they can't do the job. Don't make that same mistake like the PLP made. All of these guys, and I can tell you, all of these guys, Andrew Burrows included, and he knows that, and I have no thing to mince with it, don't know anything about broadcasting or as a news director. I say that. But he was there. I'm all for giving the people a chance. But see, these are the fellas who are out there doing all kind of damage. And the people in charge of them couldn't understand that. They just figured, but he's our boy. He picked Steve good, boy. He talked Bible Steve again today. That's good. That's foolishness. Because he ain't moved me. See, I still here. But will he be there? Will he be there at the end of the day? You can't prostitute yourself like that. Not as a journalist. No journalist will do that. So the bottom line is this, that some people will hear you and some people ain't got time for you. And on top of that, some people too proud, like the fella say, to even approach you about something. And if anyone in the government right now feeling froggy and proud, that's their business, because guess what's going to happen? As the time goes on and they don't do what they're supposed to do, who you think can look fool? Them. They will expose themselves, which is pretty much what Bradley Roberts is trying to say right here today. Now, he may be premature because it's only 40 days, but guess what? That's a good number. 40 days, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Remember that? In the Bible, 40 is a good number. In 40 days, you're supposed to be able to point the direction where you're going. End of story. Now, that don't mean that I don't like the present government. I support them. I support them big time. I love them. I want them to succeed. I got plenty of friends inside there. But you see, you got to try to listen to what people are saying. The people out there, the people in the public, they telling the government the right thing, you know. All of you all who are there talking on the phone and say, this is what I think, and sending text, it's beautiful. Because if they start to use just an eighth of that, they can see where they're going. See, Grand Bahama needs focus. But what kind of focus does Grand Bahama need? You got to be real focused. We got to get the machinery down there to talk about doing things of industrial stuff. We got to find some. Paul Moss is correct when he says you got to go away and find some people, get a group together, go on a mission. Ingram did it, you know. Go get a mission going so that we can bring some money in this town. Go find some manufacturing companies. Go to Costa Rica. Go to places and bring some stuff. Let's get moving. Because our people need to work. That's why Mark, Store, and those people are making all that noise and that promo that you heard, but you'll hear again. Keep listening. You'll hear it again. That's what they're saying. They're saying, don't you then forget us. Chief, don't come talking that fool. Don't come around here with that, because we ain't accepting that no more. That's what is happening. So let's get it together. I've Copy. How are you?
Hey, good evening, Mr. McKinney.
Yeah, reconciler, what you say?
Boy, what I say, Mr. McKinney, I'll this much. The first thing, if the government was really serious about getting this country ahead, and and as they were campaigning on all these big grandiose ideas, which was very good, and why the people voted for them. But the first thing they must realize, the Bahamian people did not vote for them because we had a love affair with them. We voted for them because the PLP was doing so bad, and we wanted to get rid of the PLP that bad. That's the first thing they must realize.
Yep, that's the reality.
That's right. The next thing, Mr. McKinney, they left for a 10-week vacation. No bills has been taken. I'm not saying because Bradley Roberts said. I say because I haven't understand the season for myself.
Yeah, but we talked about that from last week. Bradley Roberts is late on this. We talked about that from last week, and we talked about.
And the thing is, Mr. McKinney, they talk about the Bahamians having the investors having the same right as foreign investors. No bills was put in place for that. That was not addressed. Not one thing. They talk about all right. We have talked about the. They didn't talk about the foreign exchange, but we talk about it.
Yes.
If that was to happen, that's the first thing that have to be addressed. Remove exchange control.
Yep.
So we can have a right to open a U.S. bank account, and there will really be
get venture capital. Get venture capital so that we can grow this thing. I mean, there's so many Bahamians out there who want it.
They borrowed $722 million hands down. They go in the same way as the PLP. They are not addressing the endemic and the systemic corruption in our system. Without that being addressed and changes being made, the Prime Minister, for 2 terms for Prime Minister, nothing, no legislation being put at the table in the House of Assembly. Without these things happening, then nothing will happen, Mr. McKinney.
Well, you could be right about it, but let me just say this. I think that they are trying to do something with the anti-corruption measure. But, I think that
was going to be my next point, anti-corruption.
Yeah, but see, but listen.
If you were really trying to do something, why wasn't at least something tabled on the in the House of Assembly?
Well, but see, let me speak to that. That's what I'm talking about. See, I think that they're giving the perception that they're doing something about it or want to, because they came to office on that they, they're going to create this anti-corruption and so forth. Okay. The truth is that they are showing some signs of it, but they seem to be iffy on it. They're stutter stepping. They're tentative. They're not so sure that is the real way to go, because you see, what is happening is that some other people are in the mix now, and they really ain't so sure that that's the right way to pivot.
Exactly my point. You know why? You have people from all sides of the political divide who get their hand in some cookie jar or some corrupt activity.
Anti-corruption policies and all that, that's good, but you've got to have a group of people who are committed to it, and you've got to know that once you go there with these kinds of
That's my point.
But hold on, once you go to these kinds of initiatives and policies that you want to implement to bring this country right side and fix the country right and get the ship of state going good, you don't expect to be there after you then do this now. See, because people don't want that kind of reform, because the entire country have levels and levels of corruption at every local level, where even the garbage man probably will be corrupt, trying to charge you to collect your garbage. I'm just as an example. So when you do these kinds of things, you are upsetting the entire apple cart to set.
That would need to be done to right this country.
I agree.
Do it. Okay. Right now we have roughly $8 billion in debt right now. No fiscal laws in place to deal with saving money and you're growing the economy. The economy is stagnant. Right now, the doldrums got worse since May 10th, when the election was.
Well, listen,
10 or 12.
Mate, you don't forget election day. May 10th.
I tell you, what they done been ain't mean nothing to me.
I hear you.
Okay? The fact is, I want to see this place governance. I want to see governance, good governance.
Yeah.
Right now, the PLP just changed their color to red. I feel like the PLP still in power as far as I'm concerned.
It ain't that bad, man. It ain't that bad.
Listen, Brother McKinney, that's
it ain't that bad.
It is heading.
My Lord.
Anyway, that's the road they are going.
I hear what you're saying. I take it under consideration. I made a note of it. I appreciate it, Reconciler. Is it that bad, folks? Why don't you call me? 325-023516. Because, that Reconciler really ratcheted up a bit just now. What are your thoughts? I mean, Roberts is saying some things, and he's blasted the F&M, according to the Guardian's headline. Peter Turnquist, and those are still talking some stuff. The Deputy Prime Minister, Peter Turnquist, he's still running on with this thing about I don't know if he got the memo, but he's still running on this thing about there's more stuff to come, about more corruption. And he may be right. There's more revelations. And that, I say that's not your job. Leave that alone. That's not for you to do. You just deal with. See, that's still a part of the election campaign and rhetoric. You are now in the government, in the governance. You now say, okay, if there's something to come, that's going to go through the Attorney General's office and the police and all that. And when it happens, then you can say, see, I told you so. But it's not for you to be making headlines, still talking about more to be revealed. What do you mean? If you are inside the government, you can reveal it right now. There's nothing that holds you back. You now the government. You're not the opposition. If there's more to be revealed, then say it. This is what has happened. Bam. That's the end of it. The story, the headline should be not more to be revealed. But, for instance, if this was the headline, Bahamas Air broke or need more money or whatever it is. You got to say it. Be specific. Give me the succinct information as to, but there's more to be revealed. This is kind of like, just leading people on and causing this whole thing to build up to the point where the expectation continues to be way out there that people say, man, look here, you all going to have to send some people to jail. I believe that Bahamians are now not really so much on that run, They would like to see things happen, but in order, the processes must take place. And if that happens and something is found to be, mismanaged or whatever it is, they expect the law to take its course. I mean, we get that. We are smart. We're not that dumb. We get that. We don't need to be led on about more to be revealed with all this intrigue. Bottom line, if you got it, put it on the table. See, what people want is more to be revealed. Yeah, reveal what you're doing in the area of crime. Reveal what you're doing for the economy. Reveal what you're doing for immigration. What reforms you're going to make as far as the electricity is concerned. What reforms are you making for home relief? What are the reforms? What are the things that you plan to put down as policies? That's what people really are interested in. That's what they are, Believe it or not. What are you going to do about this whole thing about the hurricane season is now here? Is there a plan afoot right now in case we are hit by a hurricane? What's our go-to plan? Have we reorganized NEMA? What have we done? See, these are the things that people could bite into. They could feel that the government's going somewhere. But this thing about more to be revealed, listen, enough of that. Hard copy, how are you?
Hello, Mr. McKinney.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How should I put it? They seem to have all the sign, but they're lacking the power.
They seem to have all the what? All the signs of power, but they lack the power thereof?
Lack the power or try to move to get anything done.
Man, look here, have some faith. They're going to get it done. It's just that they're a little slow right now. We've got to kind of hurry them along.
Seem to be paralyzed because what is going on in this government? If he's going away, I would hope he'd use a couple fellas who would probably break off and they go someplace else and get some type of input from some type of investor that they can find.
I think that they're going to plan it. I think that they're going to move it. I think they heard some ideas that we talked about. And I think that they need to go.
That he can't get to Mr. Minutes only through the press.
Well, that's how it is. I mean, no, everybody, see, there is a perception that there's a wall that's been placed because we've never really had for instance, a press secretary per se. We've had some people who spoke about different things for the government, but we've never really had a press secretary in the context that we now know this position to be, or in the way that we have compared it to the press secretaries of the United States. See, so it's new for us in a way, and media has also got to appreciate that there is a press secretary, and he has a function to do, and they ought to go and familiarize themselves with the function is that he has to do. So it's a legitimate thing. It's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, everybody under the auspices of that press secretary and the cabinet and everything, they have to be speaking on the same accord. They've got to be with a one voice on everything. So whenever the Mr. Newell, the press secretary, says something, that is the complexion of the leader. That is the stamp of approval by the cabinet of the Bahamas. And so that's a new thing in a way because we've never really had it like that, but we can get used to it. I think that it's a good thing. But the trouble is Minnis is going to have to still step out from behind the press secretary on occasion and say, these are the things. He's the prime minister. And the people are now used to feeling the prime minister. You know, they used to, hey, Mr. Ingram, hey, Mr. Christie, they're used to that. So, you know, in a way, that's what the getting used to has to be now in this dispensation. But I believe that ministers will come around and see that to be a good, logical thing to do. And I also believe that he will find his feet and know what to do. It is just a matter right now that they're in a state of flux because they're trying certain things. And so that's what is happening. They're not so sure. They're kind of like tentative on certain things, and they're not so sure. But they are the government. I remind them, you are the government. You are in charge. What you say it goes. That's what has to happen.
One more thing before you go. What about this Mr. Wells meeting? He wants some airspace to control it, or he want to bring in an investor, I think, Cassini or something like that.
No. See, now, I can't go there because that is propaganda and other stuff. I don't know anything about that. Okay. I know that Mr. Wells, when he was on my show, he brought up some things about airspace from a perspective that the minister passed, the Glenys Hanna Martin, who was in charge of it, that he gave us some ideas when he was in the cabinet. And she was perhaps... when he was out of cabinet and she was the one who was now the minister, he gave us some good ideas as to how things could happen, and he did some kind of I suppose research to find out the kind of monies that are involved in this kind of billion-dollar event of our airspace. But he didn't say that he was trying to run the airspace or wanted to own the airspace. That's the position of the present Minister of Aviation, who happens to be Dionisio de Aguilar. Dionisio is in charge of tourism and in charge of aviation and, of course, Bahamas Air. So the ideas that Tennyson was talking about was expressive to them that they ought to go behind it and run behind it because there's a lot of monies in it that can help to shore up the country. That's what Tennyson was saying. He never mentioned anything about trying to be in charge of it.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, sir.
I appreciate you. 325-0235 or 325-0242 or 43. That's how you call me. I'm listening to you. And you can also text me and WhatsApp me at 376-9234. Mr. Roberts has said a mouthful. A mouthful, Mr. Roberts has said. And, it may have taken root. Here's something else what he said. And I quote directly from his news story in the Nassau Guardian. He says, he goes on, he says that no new crime-fighting strategies were done by the Free National Movement government after 40 days. And they then take the break until September 13th is the date. He says no new crime-fighting strategies, no new immigration policies, no energy reform policies, no strategy for growing the economy and creating jobs, while many more jobs must be created. In this economy, the minister's government is busy raising the unemployment rate, engaging in, I suppose, these people who were let go in Grand Bahama from urban renewal. So he has some points that he had made, okay? And it's criticism that you could look at and say, well, maybe the minister's group is going to have to, pay more attention to certain things that are noteworthy and that they should be doing. There's nothing wrong with that. Bradley's a Bahamian. He could talk. He could say what he thinks. And he also was a former minister. Don't forget that. Okay? He was a former minister, a dynamic minister of works. He wasn't only just the PLP's chairman. And he did a very good job at that too. But the point what I'm making is that these are notes that we should look at it and say, for what it's worth. And we should quickly have a statement from the Prime Minister, not because he's answering Roberts, but because he's speaking succinctly to the things that maybe all of us are harboring in our minds that, boy, these fellas them look like they're going on break and we can't feel where they're going yet. See the point? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But you know how this whole thing started, right? This whole thing started from a lady by the name of Glenys Hanna Martin, who put them on notice that they were lying the whole time through their teeth when they was trying to campaign or when they were campaigning, and now they're in the house and they still talking fool, is what Glenys said. I'm going to let you hear those sound bites in a minute.
Steve?
Hard copy, how are you?
Hey, Steve, what's happening?
Okay.
This is Molly here.
Molly, how are you, sir?
Boy, Steve, I always enjoy your show. These guys get excited when you come on now.
Well, that's a good thing.
I remember when I called last week and I said, I'm tired of hearing about all this. More stuff to reveal and all that. Everybody and their grandma know that the PLP is a type of political party in this country that always misappropriates funds. Known fact. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing of it. I just came from a place just now where, because of my campaigning with the FNM in the last election gone, that they're putting hell on me now. Saying that, man, we went with the FNM because of you.
Yeah.
Time for these fellas to deliver.
I know the feeling, man. That happened to me the last time when I go and tell the people, say, boy, look here, you got to give the PLP a chance because you see the FNM, they gone crazy. You remember with the Patelco thing?
Yeah.
And I say, give these guys a chance. Let's see what they got. The people say, you put them there, Steve. You tell us to go do that. Now you want to tell us, but beat them up? No, that's what the people said. So I understand your situation.
And I had to tell them, I said, look here, man, whatever you do, just let me deal with that, and I can talk to them for you. I can deal with that. Don't lay off me. It's starting to get on my nerves now because I can't even enjoy a cocktail no more when I go somewhere to have a drink. And somebody see me. I just went up the other day early in the morning to go to work, and somebody can walk up on me and say, man, it's the people's time. I say, oh, God.
You feel like they're teasing you?
Yeah, they're teasing me.
They're making sport of you.
And it's like, you almost promise these people the world and say, man, okay, give us a chance. Especially down in that area over the south would represent Coral Harbor and all that,
Oh, okay.
And people are waiting, and you got people who.
Well, listen, Molly.
Now,
I will advise you this: you got to go with it. You should expect that people are gonna goosey you because a lot of them are opposition people who didn't like that they lost.
These are FNM.
Yeah, but I mean, they can goosey you too because they figure that by this time the government should have already articulated something that's a focus. It's a focus point, and the government. That's why I say Roberts is correct on his measure because they have not articulated that. You see?
And what's so funny about it? One person even told me this evening. They said, "Had this been the PLP who win, the next day they would have their people to work."
Oh boy!
I said, "Well, you have a point there." I said, "But we don't function like that in the Free National Movement. We got to make sure all our ducks in a row."
I see. Well, this does take long to make sure them ducks in a row. There must be plenty ducks because
Well, Steve, like I said, the first 100 days is going to be the time when the FNM come out to the people and we going to get it going.
Well, I hope so.
I just ask the people who can hear my voice right now to just give the government some time. The country's in a mess and we're trying to fix it.
Yeah. That I agree with, but you ain't going to fix it by just keep on rehashing this thing about more to be revealed. You got to fix it by saying, here are some things that we're going to do, and we are on the mission of doing them now. Bam, this one. Bam, that one. Bam. That's my point. It's called governance. It's called governance. It's called good governance. It's called accountable, transparent governance. One of the things that they can start with right away is since they want to get this whole thing about the anti-corruption bill through, and they didn't have the legislation yet, they can start that by looking at the Freedom of Information Act and pass that Freedom of Information Act so that we can have access to the information and help them investigate
another thing for
and
them to launch
discover.
A recall of some of these.
That could happen late in the game. You ain't want to do that right now. That wouldn't be a smart move for them to have these things highlighted because I got some fellas right now who I would write a letter to tomorrow and have them recalled right away.
Well, I see if there's about 10 of them I see too.
Don't call no name, Molly, because I ain't gonna call them.
No, I know, but I'm scared.
Let's keep that a secret for right now. But they know who they are, right?
They know who they are. They know, and the complaints going in with them already.
I tell you, boy.
What they say is supposed to do.
I know. Anyway,
right,
let's see what happens. All the best. Thank you. 325-023546. It's an open line today. You can call me and talk to me about anything. You can disagree with me. You don't have to agree with me because I don't know everything, but I do know some things. And so you can call me, disagree with me. You can call me and give me your points of view on this whole matter because I'm only asking, see, Roberts them starting to get froggy now. They jumpy. See, they're getting froggy. That's the language on the streets. They're getting froggy. They're getting froggy because, they feel a certain type of way. That's the hip talk too, I know the hip talk. They feel a certain kind of way. And why they feel that way is because they lost. And these guys are in there and they're looking at these guys and saying, but this what y'all bring? This the best y'all got? See the point? And so there's criticism that's being hurled left, right, and center. Now, what do you think, friends? What do you think? Do you think it's unreasonable for the people to have high expectations at this point in the game? Or do you think that you need to mark it right down to 100 days before you can say anything at all? Do you realize that if you wait that particular long, it may be too late to try to get things in the direction where it's supposed to go? 40 days is a lot of time, you know, as far as just outlining some key points of governance, policies. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they can go and feed the sick, cure the, I'm not saying that. I'm saying in 40 days, you could articulate where you hope to go and how you're going to get there, which is on the side of governance and not as an opposition group trying to get in power. So you could redefine what is happening now and really give us a list of these are 6 things that we plan to do in the next whatever days. Or these are 6 things that we plan to do as the first part of our administration, in the first half of our administration. That wouldn't be too ambitious, would it? And that's not unreasonable to hear the government say that these are the things that we're focusing on. I mean, you know, if you disagree with me, just call me and tell me so that you can put me on page. Maybe I'm the oddball out, which I doubt, but you know, maybe I am. So I'm listening to you. 324-023546. And you can also send me a text or WhatsApp at 376-9234. I've got lots. I'm going to get to them in a minute. And when I come back here this afternoon on Hard Copy, I want to really tell you how this thing got started. This thing really got started by a lady by the name of Glenys Hanna Martin, who really has not said that she's going to run as leader of the PLP. But she is showing all the signs that she has got life. There is life there in Angliston. Life there in Angliston, while the fella from Cat Island seems like he don't know how to shoot himself out of the wet paper bag right now. And he's the one who can do it. He can get things moving, but you know, for some reason, he can't clearly articulate what's going on. People didn't feel him in that debate. They felt Glenys. They call it Jack in the Box because she kept jumping up and down, objection, and point of order. Mr. Speaker, I rise on a point of order. And so the people say, who this woman is, keep jumping up and down. Is she Jack in the Box? Glenys told me off air the other day, I'm not Jack in the Box, Steve, but I'm Jill in the Box. You know, Jack and Jill went up there. Hey! Hold up, Percy. Be back in a minute. This is Hard Copy.
Hey Bahamas, the signature event of the summer is almost here. Summer Glow. Independence Weekend, Friday, July 7th at Sapodilla Restaurant. One night of enchantment, entertainment, and flavor. With live performances by Julian Believe, Bodine, and Mr. Ghost Move himself, Abby. Music by DJ Fines. RSVP to live the experience. 327-2161. Follow Sapodilla Restaurant on social media.
Driving on West Bay in rush hour? Hard. Getting a new car to enjoy the ride? Easy. Carting the kids around after school? Hard. Getting a car to fit them all? Easy. Get an easy auto loan from Commonwealth Bank. Super low rates, fast 24-hour approval, no loan fee, and no payments for 2 months. So come to Commonwealth Bank, and your next car is easy. Commonwealth Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
I don't have money to waste. So when it comes to insurance, I come straight to Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue. They find me the best rates on policies to cover my car, house, boat, business, and you get all kind of discounts. 15% off if you have a Hilltop home, 30% off if you're a first-time customer. They stay saving me money. When every dollar counts, count on Advantage.
Call Advantage Insurance at 356-0285 or visit us on Collins Avenue today. Advantage Insurance, celebrating 20 years.
Transforming institutional investing, empowering Bahamians to save and invest, growing its business to create a strong and stable investment environment for generations to come. That's what CFAL has accomplished in its first 20 years. And that's what Bahamians can expect in the years to come. For at CFAL, we believe our past is a foundation for an even greater future. Call us today or visit cfal.com and seize your future.
Ready for some good living? South Seas Estates just off Bacardi Road. Lot 75 by 100, $96,000. Duplex lots, 80 by 100, $130,000. Multifamily lots, $120,000. Call 362-1214, South Seas Estates, and be sure to inquire about beachfront and Marina View lots.
Boy, this year flying by quick, eh? It'll soon be Christmas.
That's right, and I haven't even started saving yet.
Girl, what you waiting for? Why you don't join BOB's Christmas Club account? They give you higher interest than any other bank. So by Christmas, you'll have lots of money to buy presents for them 3 little rugrats.
That sounds like a great idea. How much do I need to open it?
Only $20, but you have to open it before June 30th.
Bank of the Bahamas Christmas Club account. Get more merry for your money. Only at Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
Get excited, Bahamas, as we celebrate our country's 44th birthday.
Wear your colors.
Wave your flag.
Decorate your homes and businesses.
And let's celebrate
the Beach Retreat, Rawson and Parliament Squares on Sunday, the 2nd of July at 5:30 p.m.
National Pride Day, Rawson and Parliament Squares will be transformed on Friday, the 7th of July. And the Grand Independence Celebration, Clifford Park, on Sunday, the 9th of July at 8 p.m.
Immediately following at 1 a.m., John Canoe, the People's Love and Unity Rush.
Then, the grand finale.
On Monday, the 10th of July, will be a state reception, Government House.
This is an exciting calendar of events you won't want to miss.
Oh, no, I won't. Will you be there?
Of course, I will beat you there. So let's get involved and celebrate our country's 44th birthday together.
The town is buzzing about the signature event of the Summer Glow on Friday the 7th at Sapadilla Restaurant. Live entertainment featuring Julian Believe, Bodine, and Mr. Ghost Avi. Tickets are right now $25 and include a signature cocktail. This is going to be another sold-out event, so reserve your tickets right away. Call 327-2161. That's 327-2161 and live the experience. It's going to be big. Summer Glow, Friday the 7th of July. You ought to be there at Sapadilla.
At Rod's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators, and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Transforming institutional investing, empowering Bahamians to save and invest, growing its business to create a strong and stable investment environment for generations to come. That's what CFAL has accomplished in its first 20 years. And that's what Bahamians can expect in the years to come. For at CFAL, we believe our past is a foundation for an even greater future. Call us today or visit cfal.com and seize your future.
We have a situation here on the ground. I can start by saying it like this.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
I hope this is a working vacation, and I ain't speaking only but cabinet.
I would ask my government haste and forthwith to come out of the holes. But I want to say to my government again, the tail's out. Don't be like the rat running the hole and you leave your tail out. And I repeat, my government, come out of the hole. Thank you.
I know. What you mean if I know who that is? People don't know who that is.
I got a word for my government.
Gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down.
When you campaign on a promise and present a budget that does not include the people who we thought you were talking about, the small people who really got you in office, it puts a big question in your mind.
It's a very confused environment.
I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down.
All you former challengers who were so readily reached by phone, who done change your blasted number, be coming for you.
Well, I know what's right. I got just one life. In a world that keeps on pushing me around, but I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down.
Welcome back. This is Hard Copy on a Monday. And of course, your Monday could be a blue Monday, could be a sunny Monday, could be a wet and rainy Monday, wherever you are. You can make it a great Monday because you can call Hard Copy at 325-0235 and you can also text Hard Copy at 376-9234. Talking about text messages, let me just read some of them to you. I've got a whole lot of them here today. And this person says, he says this: they need no Jamaican to tell them why they lost. Christie was the reason. Free advice, and I'm a Bahamian, says this person on the line. And then this person says, the Roberts era is over. Then, of course, he says, the PM, Dr. Menace, have to first want help. And I suppose he was responding to the fella saying that, somebody got to go and then help Menace. And that's this one. He also says, Christie said, reconciler that over the F&M open their own files, they will find the answers to all their questions that go deep. This is what this person said. Remember, Christie did say that. Christie says, you all making all this noise, but, look in the files. It's right there. Open your files and you'll see that there's nothing. We did everything right. So, there's a whole lot of debate going on back and forth. I called it on the weekend at the Last Word show. I call it tit for tat. Christie said he didn't see anything wrong and they did everything right. And then the Minister of Works, Desmond Bannister, came back and says, no, says that we can prove that you all are not going to be exonerated. So far from it, there's no exoneration for you all because you all did fool. And of course, it's a back and forth, that kind of thing. This person says, Mr. McKinney, the F&M cannot answer to everything the PLP say. If they do that, they will become so embroiled in controversy and never get anything done. You cannot answer to BBB, every Big Bad Brad, every time he pops up with foolishness. That's what he wants, and the F&M needs to keep pushing along and doing what they came to office to do. And everybody will say, okay, that's fine, but what is that they came to office to do? You see, and so this particular text sender, he's correct in a way that, you can get distracted, but you see, that's just it. The F&M is distracting themselves by keep on talking about and getting involved in these things about the revelations and what ain't revealed yet. You then paint the picture that these guys did foolishness. I believe that the Bahamian people all agree. Something fishy, the PLP did fool. There's no question in my mind. And that's why they voted them out. And so if that's the case that they did fool, then let the police and the Attorney General go and look at it and deal with it. And they must deal with it. And there's nothing wrong with chewing gum and walking at the same time. And that's what this amounts to. Let that go on by itself. Simultaneously, you run your government. You see? So you just can't say, ignore Bradley Roberts. You can ignore him. That's fine. But he says the F&M must do what they came to office to do. So in essence, he's saying the same thing that we all are saying. They come to office to bring good governance. So you've got to lay out the line, lay out the plans for the good governance so that people could feel what you're saying. So I get your point, brother, but that's how it is. In the court of public opinion, the PLP have been found guilty with or without the F&M. The people are stronger. The people are stronger than the people in power. That's what this person said. The young voter who voted the F&M in power don't listen to Bradley Roberts or Fred Mitchell. So he's saying young voters don't listen to them. They're not checking for them. They're the past. He goes on and says, Bradley Roberts is an old dinosaur, irrelevant. Fred Mitchell is extinct. And this person also says the PLP was made extinct on May 10th. They eat their young, is what he says. So this person has no confidence in the fact that people say, but the PLP got a lot of good young people. Well, they had all of Michael Akitas them, and they didn't shine. They had all of what's his name, Kayla's Rule in them. They didn't really shine. I mean, they had a chance to shine, but did they? He'd be the judge. Person says, good afternoon, Steve. I agree with Mr. Roberts. The PLP already lost the election, so we need to now focus on this F&M government and hold their feet to the fire for a better Bahamas. I don't want Dr. Menace, those things that they can go in the House Assembly and just talk about questionable deals. So they need to govern. I don't want to hear about the PLP. They already lost. Let's move on. That's what that fella says. What does this person say? Steve, work can be delegated. They don't have to be in the country to deal with certain things. F&M administration is working throughout the country, I suppose this means. The effect of their efforts are coming to fruition very soon. That may be so, and I do hope, I pray that that's the way it is. And you're correct, gentlemen, whoever this is. You don't have to be in the country to get things done. No. But there are urgent matters of state that needs to be addressed. And he's on a reasonable, understandable situation with CARICOM. You know, he has to go to CARICOM. It's no problem. But at the same time, there are people in the F&M administration that must be working, and not just saying that they're working, but we must feel that they're working and that they are doing things that is in our best interest. And they need to just lay it out. This is what we're doing. These are the things that we're focused on, and that will be sufficient. As far as I'm concerned, that would be sufficient. But, in the light of not knowing for sure, and Roberts sounding off the way he is, I'm only saying that can set in like cement, and that can help to, influence public opinion about what's going on. And, we hope that everything is going to be sorted out very shortly and soon so we can see where we're going. Because if we don't, you need to know that doubt is a serious thing in politics. That doubt has wrecked many ships. You just got to know that. Hi, Steve. Those people who call in and saying that they are upset, they are PLPs. You may be right. I don't know. But, you ought to also call in and voice your views on the government. Don't just send me a text. Call in and say, look here, this is what is happening. Don't be scared, because the government needs all the help that it can get. And you need to help to shore up the side of the governing party by making sure that you get your say. This person says, I am confident they will do what they say, feeling that they know what will happen in 5 years. Wow, that's a threat. This person also says, I personally think people are expecting too much in a short space of time. I do feel, however, that the appointment of the board should have been put in place earlier. Let's talk about that for a second, because this person has made mention of the boards. I think the day in the papers somewhere, I didn't see them all, but I understand that they have all the appointments of the boards. I think Tommy Turnquest was named at Bahamas their chairman. Tommy Turnquest, a former minister of national security, a former leader of the party, is now working on the board, and he is now the chairman of the Bahamas Air board. That's one of the things that's been talked about. But the boards themselves, you see, one of the things that was a flaw, or may have been just an oversight. The F&M came in and they did not name those boards right away. Now, yes, it's going to be a bit to name the boards. You can't expect them to name all of them, but there are certain boards and certain key members of boards that you could have named so that you could have your people in place so that they can go about the business of looking at and protecting the information if there's been malfeasance. In other words, you got your people there so they could oversee when they try to move that piece of paper. You see, but that didn't happen. They're just doing them now. And that may have been a little bit something that could have worked to the detriment of the forward thrust of the Free National Movement. Just think of it. Just logically think of it for a second. Take the political things off. Now think of it for a second. You are now in the country's seat of government. All of these boards that have been out there all this time doing all kind of crazy stuff. I'm not accusing them of anything, but, they're just doing their thing, whatever it is, working good or working bad. They're doing their thing. You then know that you've been saying on the campaign trail how these fellas have been doing all kinds of stuff, and you're suspicious. You come to office, you go to do your budget, you are suspicious, you enunciate all the things that you've been suspicious about in these things. But you did not get substantive information from a point of view of hands-on because your boards came in very, very late, like today or this past weekend. You see? And so what that does by public perception is that you really have people inside there on top of what's going on. Do you have people on the board in ZNS and they know? Do you have people on the board of, you see what I'm saying? And so, but that is one of the things that people looked at and say, boy, maybe they should have named these boards a little earlier. And that's what that person is saying just now. Yeah, I agree that they should have named the boards a little earlier, but maybe they couldn't. I understand that there were so many applications to be on these boards. I didn't know that you make application for the boards. I thought that these were just appointed and given in many cases to a lot of those for patrimony purposes and some people who are qualified to know what they're doing. But I did not know you had to make an application. I get the indication that there was an application made to be on the boards. Like, you know, if I wanted to be on the board, I must write an application. I don't think that I would do that. I think that these boards should be given to people who have the capacity, who have the competence level and everything, the capability of doing it, and the leadership of the groups of Free National Movement personnel should be able to know who some of the people can serve on these things. And it should be a mixture, cross-section of different Bahamians and whatever, you know, to put on the boards. It's only fair. But I don't have a problem with that. If the boards have not been named, that's up to them. That's what they did. At the end of the day, they've now been named, most of them, I suppose, and hopefully they'll get out there and do an excellent job. Because we all need to put our hands on deck to grow this country. There's no question about it. This person says, hi, Steve. The F&M is working. Just last Friday, Jeff Lloyd was in Gregorytown planning to build a new primary school. Oh, way to go. To make the old school, and to make the old school a community center, is what this person is saying. See, and that's what you ought to be saying into the airwaves. Don't leave it up to me to read because I can only read so many texts. I want you to call and say, this is what is happening, because that will then motivate the body public that things are in fact happening. That seems to be a secret. Or they have not gotten the right PR on it so they can really get it out. I know Jeff is going to do a good job because Jeffrey Lloyd, his name is Jeffrey. Jeffrey Lloyd is a man who is on a mission to make a difference. That's just him. And so I have very high confidence that he will get a lot of things done. I do believe that sincerely. I believe that Vaughn Miller will get a lot of things done, along with in the ministry he is. He's under Lanishka. What's her name? Lanishka Rule. Social services. I think that they have a dynamic opportunity to go and get things done because people are in fact wanting to feel them a little bit more. So I expect that they're going to do an excellent job. And I said that before. You know, but these are the realities of things. So you see, in the face of all that Bradley Roberts is saying, people can get that position that, boy, this doubt setting in and this ain't good. And that may be the style. That may be the whole idea of Roberts and the PLP, the wounded PLP, to get people to doubt. And you see, what I'm saying to friends, and I have to say it, because I got to be real with you. When people could only get you to doubt if you're not hearing from the leadership. Hello? If you're not hearing from your leader, your elected leader, if you need to hear from him more, you need to say that to him. Don't play with that. Because, see, once people feel him and hear him, the other people can say all kinds of things. Ain't nobody bit him no mind. This person says, good evening, Mr. McKinney. Talking about the PLP and Roberts, what the F&M should do right away is cancel all the contracts that were signed just before the elections and send home those who are hired back for 6 months before elections. They should send those retirees that were rehired by the PLPs back home. Also, they should hire, and this also goes for retired policemen. Some of them don't work before retirement. Why should they be drawing a salary while driving their families to work? This person says, the good governance of the Bahamas should be to put those scam artists to trial and make sure that they give an account of all the taxes, monies that they spent, and those that they have deposited in overseas banks should be returned to the Bahamian people. The F&M need to put their own people in place. Hello? So this person says they need to put their own people in place, is what he says. This person says, no application, Steve, just political appointees, nothing changed, and up to Friday, you had PLP chairman still involved with wreaking havoc on the staff at corporations and statutory bodies. Shame, 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 shame. Is what that person says. Anyway, you know, it's a lot of people who are upset about a whole lot of things. And, for what it's worth, that's all we can say, for what it's worth. Hard Copy, good afternoon. How you doing? I'm in good shape, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, man. Steve, let me tell you something. In life, you know what happened with with a lot of our people?
What?
God made the world in 7 days. He can make it in 1 day, right?
Yeah.
But you take your time. People, behaving people, a lot of us want things to be instant, like instant coffee.
Understood.
Now, everybody know that when the government come in power, during this time, government take the break for the summer. Now, you don't know what it is that the F&M have in store when they come back in power.
True.
Bradley Roberts, that UBP boy, he should shut his mouth. He's a golden only the blast of the past. He don't have no say on nothing like that.
I see.
All of them fellas,
He's been rejected, eh?
Never be a young turkey inside the PLP and have a say. That is the reason why they have internal problem, because they wanted to create lovers, friends, and family. These old people, the young people who have no say. Even with the older people, they want to still have the say, and they want to give the people no chance.
Yeah.
So you gotta have a mixture in your party in order for the party to run. If you have an old set of people who don't want to move aside, how's the country gonna run? Like you go on the job. How you expect for people, the young people to get a job, if the old people don't want to move out, for the people to move up, and for the young people to move in, and he should be the last one to be talking. People gotta wait and say, if you give the government now another year or so, and if they do that, then you can complain because they got to fine comb everything before they can come to the public. It can't be instant, so people got to be patient. Like the Lord say, wait on the Lord and be off with courage, and he will strengthen your heart. So you have a nice evening, Steve.
Amen. I appreciate you. Thanks for your call. 325-023516. What do you say? I mean, that fella is put it succinctly. This is what he believes. He believes that, you're Russian. Take your time, he says. Wait. And somebody else, the little devil, saying on the next side, say, when weight broke down the wagon. But, he has a very good point. That maybe these guys have a great plan. We're hoping that they do. And he's saying that this great plan will be all revealed in time. Give them some time and they'll reveal this plan. And maybe they are putting this plan together now, he says. And when they come from the vacation break, they will tell you what it is that they have on the agenda. But, one of the things that I have to say here, though, is that time is of the essence, right? The PLP came to power in 2012, and they started to play around with certain things. They got stuck on this whole thing, and it became a scorched record with the mortgage relief program. They never rebounded from that. They couldn't get to launch many of their other things because they found themselves in a crisis mood to the point where they was trying to get things going with this mortgage relief, and they got stuck right there. They never got to land reform. They never got to the generation property that they were supposed to make sure that the Bahamians were able to go to the bank and get monies, collateral, use it as collateral to get monies. So they got stuck. So a lot of their things just fell by the wayside. Then there was one problem after the other with Bahamas there and so forth. Then they got something really terrible with them because they decided that they wanted to do all this gambling referendum and so forth and so on, and they didn't listen to the people. And they just started to go contrary. That can happen in the government because 5 years is a short time. And the first two years, the first 2.5 years, when it comes to the midterm of your governance, you've got to, if you haven't done some things quickly in the first year to really get things moving, man, when that second year roll around, you're going downhill because the thing would have already set in, and people say, they then size you up and say, man, these guys, man, you see, that's what's going to happen. So my hope for ministers and them is that they are able to clearly articulate where it is that they plan to go right now. And these may just be the plans. And if they say them and keep on repeating them, the people will start to catch on. This is where we're going. You have to know where this bus is headed or this ship of state. That's all it is. And so you can't be mad with people because they're saying, but I want to know where we're going. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. They ought to know where we're going, and we ought to be able to say where we're going. To be fair. But at the same time, yes, we need to exercise some more patience and we need to be, you know, kind of like more patient to the point where let's just see if and hope that we're hoping and planning for the best. So I have no difficulty with that. Hard copy, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon, Steve. How are you doing?
Yes,
today?
sir. Peace and love. All is well.
Yes, yes. Dave, I'm one of those persons who voted for the F&M government. Well, actually, for the MP in my constituency. And Dave, I hear what a lot of persons are saying, in particular the last caller. But see, Steve, this is exactly what we're trying to avoid. At least
Yeah,
this is
you're
what
right.
I want to avoid.
That's right. That's
I
right.
want to avoid this new government becoming complacent. I don't want them to get comfortable. I don't want them to believe that, hey, guess what, it's okay to take a break. Yes, you are entitled to you know, to rest and vacation or whatever. But I mean, you just got in, so it ain't like you didn't work for 4 years or for 5 years. Now, I'll tell you this, Mr. McKinney, even though I don't believe that Mr. Christie was a good prime minister, but we must admit that I don't think I ever heard Mr. Christie taking a vacation.
No, he really worked. He did work.
He worked straight through the 5-year period. So I Mr. McKinney, I do not accept the fact that we need to give the government more time. When the PLP was in power, they constantly beat on the PLP, saying that they should have hit the ground running and they should have already had things planned to start.
Yes, they did.
You understand what I'm saying, Mr. McKinney? Yeah. So I'm not going to give them an excuse. I'm not going to make any excuses for them. The bottom line is, if they was listening to the previous government when they were in power, they would have understood exactly. Mr. McKinney, let's look at it like this. When Mr. Ingram was in power, okay, and we talked about the economy and we talked about the state of the nation and also crime. Tommy Turnquest repeatedly said that, hey, guess what? The crimes that are being committed are not random crimes. These are crimes that are being committed by, you know, repeat offenders, and these are things that are within a small scope, you know, drug wars and domestic violence. The PLP did not accept that. Also, when Mr. Ingram spoke about the recession, the PLP did not accept that. When the PLP got in power, it was the same thing around. So Mr. McKinney, I'm just sick and tired of it, and it's not making any sense. The only question that I have left to ask is, did we make a mistake? Did we make a mistake in not trying to bring in a new regime such as the DNA, who, you know, as far as you know, we would have been concerned, you know, was not cut from the same cloth. You know, I mean, it ain't making sense, Mr. McKinney. So I'm not going to give them any excuses. I already been to my Bambuta constituency office, Mr. Renwood Wells. I put in an appointment, which has now been a month and a half. I accept the fact that they were in Parliament debating the budget, and I'm giving him one more month, Mr. McKinney. And if I cannot get an appointment with Mr. Renwood Wells in the next month, so that I can sit and see exactly what it is he has for my area.
Have they not been able to have meetings in those constituencies yet to at least thank the people and say, just come back to the people after the election and say, here's what we plan, here's what we want to do, we're going to carry these plans out? Have they not done that?
No, they haven't. And Mr. McKinney, I've also before I go, I just really want to highlight this because I've been making a noise about it for a while. I live like I said, I'm in the Bambutan constituency. That's Coxway. That's the corner that's opposite Sammy's Chicken.
Yeah.
Now, when you go straight down that road, Mr. McKinney, I don't know if you may notice, there's a dump that's in that area. It's a smaller version of what's on Tony Williams Darling Highway.
Yes.
And Mr. McKinney, just how you see when the smoke on the main dump burns and the entire area is fogged and stink and smelly. It's the same situation here, and I've already made complaints about it. And like I said, I'm waiting and very, 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 very patiently, Mr. McKinney. They need to do something. They really need to do something. They need to get the ball rolling. They need to get all wheels on the floor, and they need to take off, because right now, what I'm saying, I'm not happy, Mr. McKinney. Not happy one bit.
I appreciate your call.
Yes, sir.
Thank you kindly. Well, that fella enunciated some things. There are many people like him who have not been able to see their member of parliament yet. Not in a personal way, but in a meeting where, he called a constituency meeting, just like how they put them on the screen, the off-air screen on ZNS. We're having a meeting tonight. One of the first things I would have done as a member of parliament, had I decided to go for office, right after the election, especially by one, call the people together, have an event. Halson Mutri did that. Halson Mutri called the people together in Nassau Village, and they got together, and he was able to mingle with them and tell them thanks on a personal note. And he called them together, and he fed everybody, and they had a good little time. And I'm sure that he was able to hear some views from the people who wanted to do some things and who have some ambition to do some things. And that's nothing bad. That's what you do. But then Halson Mutri he understands people. He's not afraid of people. He's a lawyer by profession. He's a meteorologist, as well. He's a public commentator. He spent a lot of time on the Last Word show. And so if I sound a little biased, then that's just the way it is. But I'm saying these things to say that he had the right idea. He had the right idea to go and just, use an occasion to thank the people and to get with them and to see what they're going. And I'm sure they're going to have more meetings. Another person who has done this, I know, is Ellsworth Johnson. Ellsworth Johnson is now putting together town meetings and stuff in his constituency to bring the people together, because he wants to hear more from what they're expecting and what they want. See, it's one thing to campaign on what you want to do. It's another thing to find out from the people, again, too, in a big meeting, what they want you to do, the direction they want you to go in. So that's a good thing. I think that he's on the right track. And I'm sure many others of them are doing things like that. But we don't know about it. And that's why I'm saying, if they're not, then please, get on to them and say to them, look, we want to get back together with you, and we want to say some things to you as to what we would like to see you do this time around. There are many constituencies that need the help, friends. Some constituencies don't need to even see their MP because, they well affluent, to do, and, they got the that kind of, they can handle things. So they don't really care. But there are certain small areas or constituencies, may not be small, but certain constituencies that are not well-to-do, if you get my drift. And they would like to sit and find out, or to say to their member of parliament, this is what we are looking for. We want to make sure this area is cleaned up. We want to make sure this is what we can look forward to. What's happening on the job market? Are there anything? I mean, the government just came out cool. Bam! Freeze on hiring. So, you didn't know nothing happening there. But the people want to hear from you. And if they do that, if they are able to, they may feel closer. And they may be able to call a radio talk show and support what you're doing. See, the biggest mistake that the PLP made is that they didn't reward their generals. They didn't reward their people on the ground. Their people on the ground became totally dissatisfied with them. They were all seething and grumbling and stuff. You can't have that happen with this group, because if that happened, you will get the same result that the PLP got. That's why there are people out there who are concerned for where we're going. You see, and already, if you listen to the show on Friday past with Mark Storr, he was making a lot of noise and got a lot of people to call in who were making the same noise about they can't even reach these fellas now. And these are guys who are close to the game of campaign. The campaigners who were very close to it, they can't reach the fellas who they were sitting on the side of the car seat on, campaigning with them. So if they can't reach them, do you know what that means in the body public of the constituency? Man, they cussing these fellas already. So that's where this thing is coming from. And I will be the one to pinpoint and tell you, nobody want to hear it, but that's the truth. That's what has happened. So fellas, them who were sitting down there campaigning with these guys, with the MPs, who became the MPs, they are calling them on the phone that they always had the number for, but they can't get them. It's frustrating. They're leaving voice notes. They can't have a response. They're leaving text messages. See, don't give me this jive about, man, they busy, they getting ready for the budget. That's foolishness. Let me tell you that right now. Your first job is to make sure you're representing your people. And when they call, you need to say, hello, I'm here. Did you call? Did you ring? That's how you have to do that. That's just good representation. I mean, Richard Lightburn and those guys, they know how to do this thing. I mean, they've been doing this. Richard Lightburn was a good MP. You didn't understand that. He listened to them people back and call. When they called from Camp Road, from proper Montague, wherever Yes, did you call? You got to be able to return your phone call. It's just good business. And you find out. And you say, okay, my telephone is still on, so I'm going to use this phone here. Now, I'm not saying that some of them home ministers should give away to people the minister number. I understand that. But I'm saying to you, if you always had your bubble on as a member of parliament, this is Politics 101 I'm giving you here now as we conclude the show. You've got to keep that phone on. You hear what I tell you? And when they call on, they must be able to access that. One of the fellas who I know for a fact keeps that phone on is Dr. Dwayne Sands. The same telephone number he always had. The next one is Denicio Diaglo. I could call him right now. Bam, he'll answer if he's not in surgery or wherever he is. He can't do surgery no more, eh? Is he? Can he? No. Okay. Well, wherever he is, if he'll answer. The point what I'm making, you got to keep that open. That's your only salvation at the end in politics. When you go in politics, boy, look here, you can't be having no enemies. So when you call that number and he answers, he can't deal with it right then, but he may be able to say to you, well, I'm going to have a meeting on Tuesday. Can you come by? What's your contact? I mean, so you got to keep that rapport going. But some fellas, they just ducking people, man. They ain't got no time. And you hear the fella call me earlier saying, Steve, I got about 10 right now. If they had implemented that recall, I want to be able to go and have some of them recall right away and impeach if they could. You know why they're saying that? Because they are disappointed already. You see the point? So there's some fellas out there who know that they've not been doing that good a job. Yeah, everybody need a break, and I know you were tired and all, but you have to return your call. Get a little secretary. Get some of these students who you've been campaigning with, and all of these young people, and let them be a part of your team, your inner sanctum, so that they can return calls to people and hear what people are saying, and you can get that information. You can call these people, in the afternoons or whenever, when you get an opportunity. I tell you, the PLP lost big because they didn't do it. And by the time as they got to it, man, everybody was sucking their teeth at them. Their own people didn't want to hear from them. That's a fact. If you don't want to believe me, don't do it. Just do what you feel like. Don't make me know, never mind. Hard copy, how are you?
Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Monkey Tamron.
Hey, Monkey Tamron, how you doing, man?
Right, good, man.
Boy, I hear you say the fellas, they run in the hole and leave the tail out.
Hey. They can fix it.
They can fix it?
They have to fix it.
Okay, well.
Trust me on it. They have to fix it. My concern today is the PLP.
Okay.
I'm wondering now where they come from. They remind me before the general election.
Yeah, well, you see, Monkey Tamron.
Steve, I said on Thursday that my crew went in the hole.
Yeah.
I'm saying today that the PLP people and Mr. Christian those, they are now out the hole.
They're out the hole, you see?
Got to find a way now to put them back in the hole.
Yeah, but the only way that can happen is if the leader of our country and the ministers are speaking truth to power and keep them at bay. See, that's what I was saying earlier. See, these guys now got voice to talk, man. How that happened? So early in the game.
Politicians, Mr. McKinney,
yeah.
You have to manage them. You have to manage your politicians.
Yeah.
We are going to manage them.
I see.
We're going to guide them in the right way.
Well, that's what we all attempt to do every day.
And we're going to try.
Yeah. Yeah, you better.
I'm concerned and afraid, based on the evidence or the allegations or alleged allegations against the PLP.
Understood.
They are now out of the hole. I'm concerned about that.
You know what that mean? What you think that mean? They bold. Okay, you ever put down a rat trap? You live in the ghetto, right? You ever put down a rat trap and put a piece of cheese on it, and this big fella come, get the cheese, this big rat come, get the cheese off it, the thing snap it, it ain't touch him. He gone, now he's emboldened. He comes out the hole every morning looking at you and saying what you can do. What you can do.
That's one way to look at it, Steve. Problem is,
my Lord.
Remember that the PLP is the class. The PLP went in the hole.
Yeah.
We had the rain, Steve.
Oh, so they out the hole.
The hole full of water.
I see.
They out the hole, Steve.
So they walk in.
They walk in.
Child crab walk in.
So they get to spawn though. They spawn. They spawn.
I see.
And so I don't think the PLP have a right at this stage to raise their hand and to come out the hole.
I don't think so either.
So
But they're doing it.
We have to find a way to fix all of them, Steve.
Well, you know, the biggest way to fix that is if you're gonna go and do what you say you're gonna do, go get with it. Get busy.
Well, you know how I go, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
You know how I go. But I'll talk to you some more, my brother.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Well, this fella says the PLP on the whole. Sound like church out, crowd walking, as Eddie Minnis say. Church out, crowd walking, that's what it sounds like. And you know, the bottom line is that it comes right back to the fellas who now in the chair. If you allow these fellas to come out this early in the game, you only got 40 days in, and these fellas then walking again like they biggity and bad. You obviously ain't do your research, and they feel comfortable. They feel comfortable that they can do that because they don't think nothing will happen. And when you got your attorney general saying that, but he ain't too sure because he ain't seen nothing, that got people kind of paranoid. Some people very parry about that. That's what the young fellas say. They parry. And so why wouldn't the big fellas be emboldened to say, you know, we ain't worried about them. They jokers. They ain't know what they saying. That's how people see it, my friends, whether you like it or not. And this is the government for everyone. The Free National Movement is the government for everyone, so they say. And we want to believe that. And we want to believe that everyone means to be, they want to be seen to be fair and justice, fair with justice and justifiable in their actions, whatever they do. But you know, if you liken it to how I told the guy just now, a big rat come and thief the cheese, and you put this cheese on the trap and you expect that to snap on his head, and all he doing is coming and getting the cheese, or he's so good, he know how to pull that cheese off before that trap comes down. And he getting the cheese, and every time you put that, he still coming getting, then the more he come out and he's walking, he's standing on your wall, looking at you, put his hand into the kimber and say, yeah, what you saying, buddy? You know, you got to say, I can get you. You got to say, boy, I can get him. And you got a plan. Hear the word? You got a plan to get him. You got to have the trap so set that when he come, he ain't gonna know it hit him. Because see, all he doing, he's a critter. Just messing things up. You tired of him. Well, the payment people, they were tired of the PLP. They vote them out. But everywhere they look, they see the PLP, they see them crowds walking all about the place. And they bold with it. And they telling you, it don't go so, buddy. We run things. But that has not been enough to motivate Minnis and them to make sure that that is not the perception. It's the way it is. It's how I see it, from where I sit. And it's been quite interesting what everybody else is saying. We're watching it with interest. The government must succeed. You must see to it. And the only way that's going to happen is if you get up off your backsides and try to help them, because they are new. They don't know everything, and they should listen to as much advice as they get. All right? That's just the way it is. I want to tell you today that my show has been brought to you by CFAL, Sapodilla, Summer Glow, 44th Independence Celebration, Bank of the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions, the Shoal Bistro over there on Nassau Street. They're getting ready for big independence. They can have independence breakfast, independence lunch, independence dinner, and the whole place is going to be draped in the colors of the flag, and the prices are going to be nice and affordable to the point where you can even take the wife for dinner at the bistro on Nassau Street. Mount Tabor's Inspiration, Super Value, Rocky Farms Nursery, they too having a big independence splash and celebration, just like Executive Printers. And you can get all kinds of things printed at Executive Printers. You get all kind of plants and whatnot over there at Rocky Farms. They want you to make sure that you can fix your area to look so good that you can look like you're ready for independence. Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets, Water and Sewage Corporation, the Ministry of Tourism, Echo Water, Commonwealth Bank, Cool Tech, the Air Can Do experts. Get your air conditioned in time for the summer. Bahamian Brewery and Beverages, Super Wash open 24/7, Bank of the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions, Advantage Insurance and Brokers, Ron's Electric Motors, Executive Printers, and the McKinney Media Group Limited for advertisement, public relations, consultation. You see us first. And so, Stephen, I suppose the fellas say church out, grab walking. We go home with that tonight. How about that? So tomorrow we come back to the show. Tomorrow we're going to have Piceville Forbes on the show. The hometown boy. He's going to be with me, and we're going to sit down and talk some business. And see if he's on the same page as Robertson now. Good night from Hard Copy. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing.
Church packed with brethren, dressed down to kill. Rev just started his sermon, but before he get in the groove, Sister Brown look out the window and spot crab on the move. She ball out church shout, crab crawling, church shout, crab crawling. Cut your sermon short, Rev, quick say amen, 'cause you could preach about heaven once them crab in the land. Now Sister Brown was the first one out the door. Brother Smith jumped through the window. He was 84. Brother Paul Brown was